The map search, 50%, half of all the search traffic is going to end up here in this group. So, but where you rank in that group, you'll notice, by the way, that they only show you 3, right? It's 1, 2, 3, and then you get a little link here like see more. How many people click the see more? No way, nobody does. Nobody clicks that, right? Do you click that? All right. All right, well, not many people click it. So 1, 2, 3, and ranking number 1 gets you more traffic than number 2, gets you more traffic than number 3. As a matter of fact, these numbers are specific to what we're seeing in the fencing industry. This is all the information I'm giving you. This is not general worldwide information. This is what we see in the fence industry. Seriously, it does make a very big difference how much traffic you get if you're number 1. Well, here's another term. Evansville residential fence. Different search, different results. Same result for Sean, but less searches than numbers. But you want to be, look, as long as you're 1, 2, 3, you win. All right, if you're 1, you win more, but 1 or 2 or 3, you win. You get a lot of traffic. So all these searches, whether it's aluminum, vinyl, wood, chain link, whatever, heat, Sean, you do it all. You guys do all this, right? And more. And you want to rank for all these. So that's a thing. This is a management thing. Sometimes I hear this all the time. Well, you know, how you got, you know, our Google rankings are good. Well, all right, quantify that. What does that mean? Well, we rank in our area. Rank for what? For how many keywords? Major keywords? 1 keyword? What are you ranking for? How many? How high? This all matters. So you got to know, you got to ask better questions so that you can get better answers. All right, push people on this. An interesting thing's been happening lately. Google on the map search is starting not to show some of these searches as much. The more traffic there is in an area, the more they are still showing them. Like for example, in Panama City, the aluminum fence, vinyl fence, wood fence, these are showing over there as to where they're not right now showing in Evansville. I don't know why, right? But that's, you guys need to know there are real changes afoot. So you don't need to know what these changes are, but the people you're working with better know what these changes are. You got to make sure that you have, this is why you can't be the web designer and your own marketer, because I know you're not paying attention to this kind of stuff, and it makes a big difference. Like most of you, I'm assuming that whatever town you actually are located in, that you would also like business in this town, and that town, and this town, and that town, and the county over here, you know, and that sort of thing. And so I just put this slide up here because I want to show you guys. There are some times I get in conversations with people who say, I can't rank in the next town over. My web guy says you can't do that. You rank in your town, you can't rank in the town next to you. That's not how it works. And I just want to show you that that absolutely not only can happen, it should happen if you're doing a good job. So just wipe that away because it should. So everything we just talked about here is the map search, and everything I'm giving you is the tip of the iceberg. All right, so if you've learned a lot just sitting here, this is the tip of the iceberg. This is another reason you got to make sure you work with good people. Please don't do it. I know there's a lot of DIY stuff, but don't. This is the big one. This is where all the traffic comes from. All right, it's about to get serious, so dig in. That was just a warm-up. All right, you with me? Here we go. The higher up you rank, the more the traffic. 34% of all search traffic in the fencing industry will click on the first organic link. 1 out of every 3 people that do a search will click on the first one. I think some people think 100% would. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The numbers are huge, guys. There's so many searches. But I want you to know, but look here. Number 2, cut in half. That's half the, number 2. Number 3, down 4, 5. As long as you're 1, 2, 3, 4, it's still a ton of traffic, but it really does matter. It is worth fighting for number 1. It is worth the fight. Different searches, different results. I know you can't read it very clearly here, so I drew arrows. One search yielded this set. A slightly different search in the Evansville area. A couple of these guys slide down, this guy slides up. This person here, they didn't even rank on this list. All of a sudden, they're ranked number 2 over here. So the differences are real, very real. All right, so again, if you're ranking, what are you ranking for? Are you ranking for a few words? Are you ranking for a bunch of words? How well are you ranking? But fence company, we get a certain set of results. Fence contractor, you can see the 3 arrows here, Pretty significant change. Three out, it's different. What about fencing company? Even a little different. Fencing contractor, little different. So even these slight variations lead to different results. The reason I mention this to you is because we are creatures of habit. How am I ranking as a fence company in Evansville? And guess what we're gonna do? Every time we go, I wonder how I'm ranking. Fence company Evansville, I'm doing pretty good. What about fencing contractor? How are you ranking for that? Not at all. Whatever, like, so again, I just want you to know these differences matter when you yourself are managing and checking how you're doing. We got to get out of our habits, and we got to know that these sorts of things happen. This one surprised me. I've been in this game a long time, and this surprised me. So when we said Panama City, now there's fence company, Panama, I'm just focusing on the part that matters there. Panama City, Florida. I actually put the word Florida in. We get a certain set of results. I use an abbreviation of FL. It changed it. Different. I didn't use anything, FL or Florida, and it was even different, again. So all these little variations make a difference. Now you'll notice it didn't change everything, it only changed some. And you know the ones that it changed? It changed mostly with the people that were using local SEO guys that kind of know what they're doing a little bit. They know about SEO, but they don't know about the fence industry, right? So they didn't think about like, oh, company, contractor, installer, installation. These are all different words that say the same thing. So they get on, this is how we normally see it. Or they get used to seeing something FL, something FL, something FL. Not one place on the whole site does it even use the word Florida. They just keep going FL, FL. It's a mistake. So you rank really well for one, but you don't rank at all for the other versions of variations. These are things that can happen. I see it all the time. So you guys need to know. You're not the ones doing SEO, but you're the one that's responsible for the success of your company. You cannot outsource your success. You've got to know what kind of questions to ask and the things you need to look for. That's all we're trying to do here. So I wanted to show you what the difference is here. And a lot of you guys may not even know this. This might be information, a lot of information for you guys. So we can do things like, hey, within 50 miles of this location, how many monthly searches are people doing for this versus this versus this? Isn't that information we might like to know? That would be helpful, right? So here, there's a pretty big difference. If somebody chose, show me and tried to optimize their site for fence company, each month, that's a fair amount of traffic. Fence contractor, a lot less. Fencing contractor, even less. This is, if you made the mistake of somebody saying, I think fence installer would be a good keyword to go, because they never did the research, just guessing. This is what feels good to me, right? That's a mistake. There's a lot of keywords, guys. This is actually 2-year-old data. I forgot to update this slide. As soon as I saw it, I realized it's a 2-year-old slide. But even so, it's probably still pretty accurate. That year, there were almost 9,500 different searches related to fencing just in the Evansville area. Not number of searches, different searches. So 9,441 different ways to ask fence questions. Fence company near me, horse fence, dog fence, cattle fence, sheep fence, whatever it is, rail fence, whatever it is, all the different combinations. There are over 9,400 different combinations. Now each one of those combinations might have been searched hundreds and hundreds or thousands of times even over the course of the year. So there's a lot, the numbers are real, they're big. There's a lot of traffic out there for fence, a lot. So we all know, just so I don't sound stupid, I know that an aluminum fence is not the same as a wrought iron fence. I know this. I know that decorative steel is not the same as decorative iron. I know this. Steel and iron and aluminum are different materials. But the general public doesn't really make that distinction apparently very well, or at least a lot of members. And regionally, it's very, very different. So, quick question, on your website if you know, or maybe just the way you think about it, how many people call it aluminum fence versus decorative steel versus, so that's aluminum fence. How many people call it aluminum fence? All right, that's a good number. How about wrought iron fence? 1. How about decorative steel? Give me some other ones. Somebody that hasn't raised their hand. What else you guys call it?
Ornamental iron.
Ornamental iron's a good one. All right, well, I wonder what Google says. Google says that by far the most searched one is aluminum fence by a pretty wide margin. So my question to you, as long as it's consistent with your business and the way you do things, the way you think about things, I'm not telling you to change your business model. I'm just saying if you have the option of making a choice, would you consider just calling it aluminum? You know, I mean, like that makes a difference. And then get that on the site. There's a reason that this stuff happens. Now, if you're doing a really good job, you might put a page for aluminum. You might put another page for maybe one like wrought iron or decorative steel or something like that. But like, so maybe you start splitting them out and you have actually different pages for these different terms, and maybe you don't have to choose one. Maybe you get all of the above is a pretty good answer sometimes. All right, topics. So we've got ag fence, farm fence, range fence, over range, field fence, country fence, livestock. There we got all the rails, cattle rail, wild rail, right? Coconut shrimp, pineapple shrimp. Right? There's a lot of different terms here, a lot of ways it goes. There's so many, and it all applies. Each difference is a difference in the way you rank. And just in case you were wondering, agricultural fence has, in this particular area, whatever it is, I'm not seeing it here, there are 480 searches that month. In farm fence in that same area, it was over 8,000. That's a big difference. And it's weird to me that the fencing industry has this big push to call it ag fence. There's this push to call it ag fence, but that's not what the public's calling it, at least according to Google search traffic. You know, people are searching for farm fence way more than ag fence. So just keep that in mind. That now, again, you can use terms interchangeably, but when you go back to look at your own websites, you guys may be horrified to look at a page. First of all, you're gonna be horrified that you don't even have an ag fence page on your site at all, right? There's most of you guys don't even have a page. You wanna rank for something, you better have a page about it, right? So the first horror is going to be when you realize that you don't even have most of these pages. The second one though is if you do have any little content about it, that whoever wrote that content tends to talk about it in one way and never diversify in other ways. And that's a problem.